in Vyasa Puja, the Guru is worshipped as the Supreme. But that doesn't mean that the Guru is the Supreme. That means he is simply the perfect representative of the Supreme. And therefore he is worshipped as the Supreme in order to pass that worship on to Krishna. That's the real meaning. So we don't accept the theory of the Mayavadis that the names of the demigods are as good as the name of Krishna. No, this is not correct. And if we do accept this theory, then we become offenders. So be cautious of that. The third offense is to disobey the orders of the spiritual master. The spiritual master is giving benediction from the ocean of mercy. The ocean of mercy is Krishna. And the spiritual master is introducing us to Krishna. So the spiritual master is giving us the greatest mercy. And why would we want to disobey his orders? Because those orders are meant for our good. Yet we see, both in the Gaudiya Math and in ISKCON, that the devotees directly disobeyed management orders from their gurus, Srila Prabhupada and Bhaktisiddhanta. And especially in the matter of the disciplic succession, they appointed gurus. And this is strictly forbidden in the scriptures. What they should have done is simply wait until the self-realized soul manifested by Krishna's grace and was revealed to all by his extraordinary preaching activities. You can't manufacture a self-realized soul by the votes of some committee. You know, that should be just so obvious and so plain that, you know, anybody should be able to pick up on it. But when one is intoxicated by power and ambition, then they try to override these simple common sense instructions and do things their own way. So even though Srila Prabhupada had created a constitution and a charter for the GBC called the Direction of Management, the so-called prominent devotees, they literally kept it a secret. They buried it. And they also minimized Prabhupada's instructions in connection with it, and also Prabhupada's instructions to create spiritual degrees and make each temple a spiritual university. They simply kept these letters confidential, and they didn't release them to the devotees at large, and we didn't find out about them for until years later, until after Prabhupada had disappeared. So these rascals, they disobeyed the orders of the spiritual master, and meanwhile put themselves forward as great devotees, even acharyas, on the same level as Srila Prabhupada. And because of this terrible offense, then the whole ISKCON society became useless. And the same thing, or something very similar, happened in Gaudiya Math. When Srila Bhaktisiddhanta passed on, the managing committee met, and they nominated one person as being the next guru, and within 6 months he had fallen down. So even though he later became reinstated somehow or other and became some kind of guru in his own math, still this devotee never was really on the same level as Srila Bhaktisiddhanta. So how could he be the next guru? Well, we can be ordinary guru by the instruction of our spiritual master, but to be a sampradaya acharya, like Srila Prabhupada, and spread Krishna consciousness all over the world, well, this is extraordinary guru. And we should accept that this is Krishna's movement. This esoteric teaching is Krishna's teaching. And if Krishna wants, he can make representatives all over the world, or he can make just one representative and empower him to spread Krishna consciousness all over the world. in any way that Krishna acts, we should accept. And we should not accept some mundane political process to substitute for that. But because of our impatience and because of our hubris, we think, oh, we can make some very nice arrangement. But when we do that, what happens is we turn the esoteric teaching into a religion. It becomes an ordinary thing. It becomes an ordinary organization. And therefore, this offense to disobey the orders of the spiritual master has tremendous impact on the whole association of devotees. It's very dangerous. The fourth offense against the holy name is to blaspheme the Vedic literature or literature in pursuance of the Vedic version. The Vedic literature is huge. The Vedic literature is immense. It would fill a large house from top to bottom with scrolls and manuscripts and so on. And then all the commentaries on the Vedas are even more extensive. And so the Vedic literature is actually, it's like a whole civilization. And if we accept one part of the Vedic literature and we don't accept another part, that means we have misunderstood the whole thing. The Vedic literature has different sections, different portions, and those portions are sometimes divided according to the modes of nature of different people. For example, Srila Prabhupada mentions of the 18 Puranas, 6 of them are for people in the mode of ignorance, 6 are for people in the mode of passion, and 6 are for people in the mode of goodness. So the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam is the topmost Purana. It's the jewel, crown jewel of all the Puranas, of all the Vedic literature. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam and Vedanta Sutra. Vedanta Sutra means the conclusion of all the Vedic literature. And Vedanta Sutra, of course, is the literature that Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam is commentary upon. It even starts with the same sutra, Janmāṣṭamī. So we can understand that especially these two books, Vedanta Sutra and Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, must be studied. And of course, Bhagavad-gītā is the best short, easy to understand summary of the entire Vedic literatures. But that doesn't mean that we reject other Vedic literatures just because they're not on the same level. No, we accept them. But we accept them with the understanding that they are not on the supreme level. They're not a complete summary of the whole Vedic teaching. They're just one portion. Mainly the Karma-kanda section. There are many rituals in the 4 Vedas and in other Vedic literatures describing rituals for fruitive advancement. Religious principles, economic development, sense gratification, and liberation. And we don't take those very seriously. And we don't take, for example, the Smarta Brahmana literature very seriously. We take seriously the Pancharatrika Vidhi and the Karma-kanda, Jnana-kanda we don't take very serious. Upasana-kanda we take serious. So you can research all these things and find out the relative values of the Vedic literature. We accept all the Vedic literature, but we don't necessarily follow all of it because a lot of it aims at fruitive results to give material advancement in support of devotional service. But devotional service is itself the conclusion and the aim of all the Vedic literatures. So we should be very careful not to blaspheme any of the literature of the Vedas or literature which is in pursuance of the Vedic version, such as this Nectar of Devotion by Srila Rupa Goswami. The 5th offense against the holy name is to consider the glories of chanting Hare Krishna to be imagination. We've all heard so many things, so many wonderful things about the powers and effects of the holy name, and we may be wondering, Well, why don't I experience those things when I chant? When I chant, it seems like nothing happens. This is because your chanting is still in the offensive stage. You have to reach at least the clearing stage before you start to feel the real effect of the holy name. The purifying effect of the holy name is so powerful. You can't understand from a conditioned state of consciousness how powerful it is. How many sinful activities are being counteracted even by offensive chanting. What to speak of when we get to the stage of nama-bhas, the clearing stage of the holy name, and when we reach the actual pure holy name and Krishna is personally present in his name. Krishna is always personally present in his name, but in the early stages of chanting we can't realize it. As soon as we get to that stage where we realize